Cars like this one tend to introduce and validate new and exciting technologies designed to push the boundaries of fuel-efficient performance and world-class motoring thrills.
So of course we start this on the left-hand side.
In a way, the Porsche 911 in all of its many forms and variations is a sort of rolling gene pool of technology and design. This car is a look at where things are going and a taste of the very latest tech and features that the designers and engineers have been working on. The 911's shopper expects the very latest, the very best, and they expect efficiency and thrills from a package that's easy to use pretty much any day of the year in any conditions. Go with a 911 Targa 4S like this tester, and it's kind of like a convertible that still passes for a coupe when the roof is up. And despite this machine's array of the latest in cutting-edge high-tech, it does have one very important nod to the past. Let's take a closer look. A 7-speed manual transmission. The springy shifter with its firm and precise throw pops up from the center console. Just above, controls for the sports exhaust system, chassis modes, and more. And down a bit lower, 3 pedals. That's a mechanical nod to the driving enthusiasts this car is built for, the sort of drivers that love to jump in with both feet.
So what kind of shifter have we got here? 7-speed manual. It's got a little bit of a sort of pivot action to it. You can see that. A fairly short throw. I can do this just by kind of flicking my wrist. Don't even have to get your hand involved. You can just do that with 2 fingers if you like.
So why do you really want the manual transmission? In 2021, having to use my arm and leg muscles instead of automated computer solenoids and magnets and microprocessors to shift is not only slower than the 911's automatic option, it's also less fuel efficient, less consistent, and less smooth. My tester has adaptive dampers, 4-wheel steering, and a sports exhaust system you can turn on with the flick of a switch. So why the relatively primitive contraption in the middle of all of this cutting-edge tech? Well, for some of us, that nod to the past can be a pretty significant one. Learning to even use a manual transmission is, after all, often an experience had with someone you care about and one that you'll remember for the rest of your life and maybe even pass on to someone else. And sitting here, surrounded by all of this and all of the latest 911 tech and driving with 2 arms and 2 legs, it doesn't matter that this isn't quite as quick or efficient, or that there's enormous hang time between the gears that the automatic option deals away with. Still, I think the joy of driving a car like this one manually is not so much about the numbers or even the feel. It's about recalling the mood and the memories of some of your favorite motoring moments and the people who were there for them.
So we'll put up some footage of the X-Sight LED matrix headlight system. This is an optional upgrade on this particular tester. These lights can do all kinds of fancy stuff. What I'm the most interested in here on an open dark highway without a soul in sight is how much light that I'm getting, how far away that it's reaching. And I love how much bright, clean light is focused right in front of the car. It's kind of like a spotlight effect in front of you, and there's also some good peripheral illumination. That is the light cast into tree lines and culverts, which can be important on dark, empty highways for early warning of potential wildlife that might be about to cross the road.
A 911 Targa like this one gives shoppers one of the ultimate 911 experiences, a performance car with the flexibility to go from an open-topped touring machine to a closed-roof, all-weather sports coupe and anything in between. The Targa refers to the open-topped model that I'm showing you here with its unique body lines and a roof system that sees the rear of the car open like a clamshell to swallow the roof panel overhead. The signature roll bar remains. And on board, the fit and finish is incredible. That's what you'd expect for the money they charge for these things, about $184,000 for the unit on your screen. Point is, everything needs to be perfect. That's what you're paying for.
I'm going to put the camera down facing backwards over the rear wheel, and I actually thought this was going to be really subtle, and it turns out it's not. You can actually see the rear wheels doing a fair bit of steering back there. Idea being is that this makes the car more maneuverable in tight quarters and also helps with the handling when you're driving at a higher speed. And you can see in this footage here, again, you're looking at the rear wheel of the car. That's the rear driver's side wheel. And you can actually see it's doing a fair bit of steering here. I definitely thought that was going to be maybe almost too subtle to see on camera. But I'm glad I tried that shot, because I think it really shows what that system is up to.
Open the flaps on the sports exhaust and listen to some flat 6 orchestra behind you. You've got over 7,000 revs to play with, a high RPM building of power output, enhanced by the twin-turbo torque, and the next gear is always just a flick of your hand and foot away. The exhaust sound is like a melody, morphing and evolving as the revs climb. The shifter and clutch are a setup that many enthusiasts will love, firm and demanding, but also comfortable enough to use in traffic. Both the clutch and shifter have a proper, meaty, high-performance feel, but also feel fine-tuned around the edges to keep you from getting worn out in traffic. If you like, there's even automated downshift rev matching, which makes for some spectacular fun. Elsewhere, it's the typical 911 driving feel, light and leisurely in normal mode. Hardly firmer than a sporty sedan, lightweight but locked-in steering for laid-back highway cruising, and just enough engine noise to keep you engaged. Sport or Sport Plus and its firmer shocks, more exhaust volume, and both steering and throttle switched to hair trigger for maximum thrills. You can also custom design your own drive mode. You're totally the boss of how your 911 Targa 4S drives. And as most 911s are, this one's happy to drop the kids at school, do the groceries, head out for a weekend road trip, or visit the racetrack. The 911 is one of the most chilled out sports cars out there, and it's an engaging and entertaining drive no matter how you're driving it. And in the middle of all of that, the magic of shifting your own gears.
All those years of Tetris came in handy. Watch this. Like a glove?
Like a glove.
And of course, with no engine up front, that's where you put your stuff, and it's deep and wide enough for a load of groceries or a weekend's worth of luggage for 2 or my camera gear. Right now, almost nobody buys a car with a manual transmission. Electric cars are coming and they don't even have gears to shift. So today, as the manual transmission nears extinction, what a refreshing thing to see one available in a car like this. Driving a car like this one is a great way to keep those motoring memories alive. Porsche says that manual transmissions are only offered on selected versions of the 911, and that amongst those where it's available, the install rate remains less than 14%. What you're looking at here is one of just a few automakers keeping manual transmissions alive as long as possible for enthusiasts like us. And so here's a car designed to stay true to its roots and to help its lucky drivers recall their favorite moments at the wheel, and to help them pass those memories along and to make new ones.